Welcome to the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, the podcast dedicated to commercial food equipment repair industry. My name is Pat Finley. I'm a lead master certified technician at General Parts Group and a certified Fesco trainer. Our goal is to shine a light on what we believe to be one of the most interesting and rewarding industries a field service technician can work in. We love the work we do, and we are glad you're here listening to this podcast. This episode, we feature Matt Brunty with RED LLC. What's up, everybody? That's kind of different. What's up, everybody? Tonight we got a very special guest, Matt Brunty, on. So it's Rich, myself, and Matt, and we're going to talk about just the industry. So we've been following Matt for a little bit on LinkedIn. We've had some interactions on there with him. Rich a little more than me. I've been trying to lay low and not cause any trouble. So, what's going on?
And this interaction, just to prep the audience, actually started with me and Matt not seeing eye to eye on something, and then that went from commenting to messaging to a phone call to like, oh hey, yeah, we're pretty cool. And here's Matt today.
Sorry guys, my stuff glitched out there. I didn't catch that last couple of minutes. I don't know what happened. It was weird.
Oh, you're good. We just did a brief little introduction. So you would give a brief little rundown about your history, yourself, and like what you do and what you represent?
Okay, so we're Restaurant Equipment Diagnostics. We're out of Beckley, West Virginia. We're up to about 17 techs now. I started in this business in 2009, right in the middle of a recession. I was fortunate enough to get a job as an in-house maintenance technician for a KFC Long John Silver's franchise. Making about $30,000 a year, working 65 hours a week, and didn't know no better, didn't care, just was hungry, man. Just had a family, and was just willing to do anything, and had a background in electrical and HVAC and like maintenance stuff. So we got in there working, and kind of figured out later on that I wasn't being paid overtime, and that wasn't allowed. My 30,000 a year come up to like, I think it was like about $4 an hour because I was working so much, and they upset my supervisor, and he's like, hey man, you need to talk to the labor board about this. So I was like, I just went to HR, and I was just like, is this true? And then, so they gave me a raise to 15 an hour, which was huge. Of course, then they started watching all my overtime, but, I loved everything about working on the food equipment and being kind of a driven person. I asked them, I was like, well, what can I do to make more money? And they was like, well, if you can eliminate outside services, then for everyone you eliminate, we'll give you an extra $1 an hour. And the big one was electrical, plumbing, cooking equipment, refrigeration. So I got after it. I was there for about a year, and I just on the job training. Had some people I had to call occasionally, build a really good relationship with Fesco in the process. It took me about a year. I got to that 19 an hour, and they were like, you've topped out. I was like, what does that mean? They're like, this is it. I was like, well, thank you. Thank you for telling me that. So, through a relationship with Fesco, I pestered Russ, who was the service manager in Chattanooga. I was in Chattanooga at the time. And they finally gave me a job, and man, I was hungry, and I loved it. And the biggest thing was I was willing to do anything. There was no job that I wouldn't do. I didn't care what it was. Hand me a Fry Master filter pump on a Friday at 4. I didn't care. And I was just hungry and, trying to take care of my family, and had some really great experiences with Fesco. And being from West Virginia, once me and my wife had our third kid together, we were trying to move back. So went to Hobart for about a month. I always say long enough to know better. That's a little inside joke. But come back to Fesco, they let me go to Bristol, Tennessee, and was supposedly starting a branch there for them, but it just wasn't as good a market. They were in Nashville, they were in Knoxville, they were in Chattanooga, and Bristol's just, it's kind of a rural like this, like what we have now. and I was very passionate about my customer base, and I just decided I was going to take a chance on me and went out and built a good business there. My brother was still living in West Virginia, got laid off from the coal mines about 6 times in 3 years, and he come down and lived with me for a year, stay 3 nights a week. I trained him. He got a job back in West Virginia, and that's when we realized the need in this market. And in 2017, my wife took a job up here. I moved up here, and me and my brother, just me and him, for really about 4 years, man, we grinded and built the market. And in 2021, we broke away from the guy we were subcontracting to, and it's just been a rocket ship ever since then.
Sweet. So we already got some questions. Brian asked if you were from West Virginia, and yes, he is. But Quentin wants to know, he said, do you cover Grundy and that part of Southwest Virginia?
We try our best not to. No, I always say this: if you're willing to pay, we're willing to go. So yeah, we do go down to those territories occasionally. Usually Turbo Chef sends us down there, and then they want to next day air parts to some podunk gas station 3 miles off a dirt road, and I fight with them, and I'm like, send the parts to us. Next air might get there by 9:30 3 days from now. Like, but yeah, if they'll pay, we'll go.
Nice. So Brian says, what part from West Virginia? He's from Clarksburg.
I'm in Beckley.
Sweet.
Yeah, and the cool thing is we have a branch in Beckley. Last March, we I say opened a branch. We started a location. And I'll tell anybody how I do that. I usually start with a conditioned storage unit. I need at least 2 techs, 1 guy that's a lead, and then we just pour into the market. And the reason why 2 techs is so you can have an on-call rotation. Like when me and my brother started it, that way you always can be there for your customer. And, you know, the one thing people miss in this business is, you know, you can burn out fast. I mean, where I'm a tech at heart. I mean, I just come out of a service vehicle within the last year, but I still carry tools. I still run service calls, and really, I have a tech's heart. And I always tell everybody, I built the place I always wanted to work. And you know, the thing is, I mean, I'm really sensitive to even like, has that guy, you know, has he done like 6 straight grill PMs? Like, you know, trying to like be careful about that kind of stuff. And but we have a location in Beckley, location in Nitro, and we just opened up. It's kind of new, but we've got 3 guys going in Fairmont, Morgantown, basically now, which is, I keep putting teasers on our Facebook, but I haven't fully announced it because I just want to make sure it's going to take off. Which we've been up for 3 weeks. We've probably had 30 calls, so we're in a good spot.
Yeah, sounds good for sure.
So was it just not anybody in those areas, or you just came to the area and just provide a value to the customers? And
I tried to get the staple in this area to hire me in 2012, and he did not like the amount of money I wanted, which was $24 an hour in 2012. And I was in Chattanooga. I was lead truck in sales, and I was just trying to move home because, like I said, we'd had our 3rd son. And the direct comment was, I've had guys working for me 20 years that don't make 18. What makes you think you're worth 24? I was like, man, I'm just trying to get home. You know, cost of living's higher in West Virginia than it is Tennessee. I just need, I need a chance, and I can't take a pay cut to come home. And it was honestly the greatest blessing of my life, because I can't tell you how many times when things got hard and got tough, that conversation has, you guys know when you got those 30-hour days. I mean, walk-in freezer after walk-in freezer, you know how it gets. So, but there was a huge opportunity, because I'm passionate about the customer experience, like very passionate. And whenever you've been the staple in an area for so long, you can kind of just do what you want. You can tell people they got 3 weeks to wait for their, $18,000 set of fryers to be looked at. And we offer same day service. If they approve overtime, somebody will be there that day, and it might be me, but that's our customer commitment. And where a lot of people kind of miss the mark is we don't offer that to everybody. That's our customer. That's the guy that calls us hot side, cold side, HVAC. I'm very protective of my guys' nights and weekends. I was talking with the gentleman the other day, and he's like, man, it's approved overtime. We always get overtime. And I'm like, what about you guys? Well, I mean, that's more money. I was like, it's really not. And you're taking them away from their family. And nah, I'm not about that life. If we got to go when we got to go, but on the other side of it,
let me ask you this: with that model that you work, where it's like you're protecting your guys' nights and weekends, you're not going to send them out just because it's OT approved and all that. What effect does that have both on your staff? How are they reacting to it? Which I'm sure they probably love it. And then, what's the effect you see coming from the customers with running like that?
So the guys love it because they know I'm protective of it. Now, we got some big accounts, and when the big account says jump, we say how high within reason. And like I said, like when my guys are on call, I'm like, hey man, if you got something going on Saturday, let me know. And you guys know. I mean, there's a little bit of gamesmanship to it. He's on a call. He'll be there in an hour. I call him, finish up at that birthday party, and just having some common sense. So the guys love it. And there's even times. I mean, one of my lead techs in Beckley, it was his birthday 3 weekends ago, and a call come in from a big customer, and it was 2 hours out, and it was Saturday parts, so I myself went because I'm trying to I just think that's the way that I can show them, guys, I care about more than just these dollars, and as far as the customers go, it's actually really neat because the ones that don't like it are the ones that don't give us the majority of the work. They want to call us when their regular guy won't come. And I tell them, you have all the leverage in the world. All you got to do is give me the work. You give me the work, and then you get nights and weekends. But if you're a McDonald's group, you're local, you have 11 McDonald's, and the only thing you call me for are your big your big machines, then you pay street rates and you don't get nights and weekends.
Right.
And then when you call me on Christmas Day, do y'all remember the Christmas, not this last one, maybe the one before, when it was so cold? It was like 10 below everywhere. Do y'all remember that? Mm-hmm. That was one of the situations we had. We had 3 calls come in, and all 3 calls were, hey, walk-ins down, need you. Where's your guy? That's what I said. He don't feel like getting out. I was like, well, that's going to be a problem for you because I ain't sending my guy either. So that's my heart on it. And the customers we have, the only ones I've lost, I've gotten rid of because either they don't pay or they're just unreasonable people to deal with. I don't know. I'm pretty passionate about my customers, that's for sure, and the guys.
And do your guys, do they reciprocate that? They know that you care about them so much. You take so much care of them that anything you need or you want from them, they're there to do it for you.
Yeah, it is very reciprocal in the fact that they know, to the point when the new guys come in, they're kind of shocked because I do something different than everybody else. I guarantee 40 hours. I got guys making 25 plus on up the ladder, but I guarantee them 40 hours because it's my job to make sure they have enough work. It's not theirs. So it's their job to do excellent work. It's my job to make sure they have enough work. So, if you're going to take a chance and come be a part of my family and bet on us, then I'm the guy that's like, hey, let's do this. I want this to be the best place you ever work. And that's been the hardest adjustment for me, to go from being a tech, turn off that hustle. Because when things get sticky, when things get tight, I want to go. I want to put on my cape and my super tech, and I want to go because I know I can fix it. But adjusting to allowing people to learn, allowing people to make mistakes, and to focus on owning this business has been a tough adjustment. I don't have a college education. I tell everybody I've got one college credit and really didn't deserve it. The girl I was dating at the time, she helped a lot with that English one. But I do have a lot of life lessons, and man, it's about people, and it's about treating people, and it's about culture. It's about, my main focus right now is I talked to my service manager in Charleston today. I was like, is there anything I can do to make things better for you? What can I do? And that's all I'm trying to do. And it's and grow the business and hire good people. But it's what I'm passionate about, and I'm kind of loving it.
I'm a firm believer. Take care of the customer, and everything else just falls into place, man. It's
Agreed.
Yeah.
not a hard thing to do. Take care of the people that are loyal to you, like you said. The ones that call you for everything, call you on everything. Okay, we'll take care of you on overtime. But the people are just one-offs. They call you once a year. Like you said, when their guy won't do it or refuses to do it, and then other guys on vacation, they call you once you jump. No, I don't care.
No, I agree. But the problem is on the tech level. A lot of times, you guys like techs don't have a say. You know what I mean? They don't have that protection. They don't have that's a business mindset. If you want this is available. But you can't call me. You can't call me once a week on one. It's got to be understood in the culture, and then it's something that I can go to my team. I'm like, listen, this call came in. I held it off till Monday. Just letting you know, I'm not going to run you all over the place, because that's what I hear a lot of times. A lot of people are driven by the dollars. I'm not. I'm driven by the relationships.
Sweet.
That's a great look. That's a great aspect to have, man. It truly is. We get wrapped up chasing, calls, chasing numbers and stuff, and it's not all about that, man. You can build that relationship with those customers, and just it falls into place. And it's just, I don't know. I think mainly you see it that way because you're from a service side. You know what it takes to build that stuff. But you get these big companies. A lot of times, these managers don't have any service background. They don't know what it is to deal with people, and they're accountants and they chase numbers, and then it's numbers. But there's not a face to those numbers. We're in there. We're a face. We see the face. We see people hurting. We see people needing help. We see people struggling. And we feel guilty. We feel passionate about taking care of that customer and building that relationship. But then someone in the office, either where you're at or some other place gets that bill or gets whatever and just doesn't care, or it's chasing numbers, man, and that's what kills me.
100%. You to me, you can't chase the number. You got to be like Matt. When you take care of the customer, you take care of the techs and the other staff. I believe everything else just falls into a place like that. And it seems like Matt is proving my theory. Now, if I'm correct, you've been in business, is it 3 years now?
So I started RED in 2014. I subcontracted from 2014 to 2021. 21 is whenever me and the gentleman that I subcontracted to, we parted ways.
Right.
So at 17 to 21, we were in West Virginia. 20 was a rough year. I remember parts of that year staying in a hotel, working 18, 19 hours a day just to keep the business going, because my wife thought I was going to kill us all with COVID, and she wanted me to shut the business down. I was like, I'm going to go stay in a hotel. I've got to keep this going because somebody's going to go. And it was a real rough time. We had one of the guys we worked with that went through some real tough family stuff. And then my brother's wife, she was in the hospital. So, I mean, COVID was, it was always in their house, or one of them had come in contact with it. I don't know if y'all remember. So it was a grind, but man, I'm so thankful for it. I'm so thankful for it.
So when you say you started, I think you said you broke off subcontracting in 2020 or 2021. That's when you started really trying to grow RED?
Yeah, I had tried to grow. So in 2019, like I saw it from 2017 on, but the guy I subcontracted to, we didn't see eye to eye. He loved him dearly, but he's an older gentleman that really didn't want to take any risk. So he was fine with us making enough money to pay for us and, just kind of take the customer base. But at the time, I'm in my late 30s and I'm like, I see the potential. And I realized David Hahn, who owned Fesco for forever, and then they sold out to PT, but he still is. I mean, that I left him to go out on my own, and man, he's been a wonderful mentor, friend, just still this day, like checks on me. He was the one who told me, he said, Matt, he said, there's two ways to do this. He said, you can get you 2 or 3 guys, you can find your niche. He said, and you can pick off these lower tier customers that don't want to pay 100 plus an hour. He said, and you can make a decent living. He said, but you're going to work the rest of your life. You're going to turn wrenches, or you have to get big. And I was like, okay, so I tried the 2 or 3 guys, but then I was overwhelmed by the need. So I was just like, man, let's just do it. And we finally cracked the well-built nut. We caught them at a good time. It's been a cool transition because I went from having to beg people to let me be their ASA to now I got people calling us. And that's a really cool dynamic flip for me because I'm like, I've been telling y'all I can do this. I'm telling y'all we're going to take great care. And I still can't crack the Middleby nut. Middleby, if you're out there, y'all got to call me. If you want your stuff fixed, you got to call me because I'm hitting every store you got. So
Nice.
So you said you got 17 texts for you right now, huh?
Correct.
Is that counting you, or are you not counting?
Yeah, I'm in that number. So I still run some calls. I can't turn it off, man.
You probably never will be able to. That's a bad thing. It's probably always going to, once it's in you, and if you truly enjoy it and it's a passion, it's always going to be there. I get asked all the time, why don't I go into teaching or why don't I go into training? And I'm like, man, I don't want to hang it up. I mean, I like interacting with customers. I like getting in there and seeing new stuff. I like,
yeah.
I like
you get immediate gratification.
Mm-hmm.
I go in, this contactor is bad. I have one on my truck. I put it in. I fixed your walk-in freezer, walk-in cooler. I have saved the day. I mean, it's just, I don't know. And yet again, being passionate about the customer experience. Like I've been around some older techs earlier on, and man, the way they talk to customers in front of them, but then behind their backs, like I hate that. Like I hate that culture. Like that's something that needs to be stamped out. I tell my guys, I was like, when you walk in there, the most important person in that kitchen is the one dropping them fries. I was like, treat them like royalty. Help them, drop fries for them, and everything else will take care of itself. But a lot of times that's the person that actually knows what's going on. The manager walks around the corner and be like, man, I'm telling you, they dropped the oil and they turned that thing. Y'all seen it. Y'all all know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's I don't know. I can't turn it off. I like doing it.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. My son, he was trying to do something, and he came to me one day and said, hey, I want to apply where you work at. And I was like, the hell you are. I didn't want to drag him into it. I didn't want to drag him into where I work at. I didn't want him to feel like he had to keep up with me type of deal. And it's just, but he went ahead and he did it, and it's worked out pretty well for him. I mean, he's struggling. He struggled tonight. I had to go bail him out. But I would have bailed anybody out in that situation. I mean,
yeah.
People think he's got it made because he's my son. I'm like, no, he's just the only one dumb enough to call me. So
I feel you. I got two boys that it's a real tough thing to kind of look at, because as a dad, I want them to be the best they can be. Mm-hmm. I've got one that's really good at school, mm-hmm. and some people are good at school. So that might be all they're good at is school, but they're good at school. Then there's others who are, it's weird because a part of me wants to generational wealth. Like I want to set them up to where they're set, but I also like, could you imagine being a dentist? I'm going to roll in at 9:00. I'm going to fix some teeth, and I'm going to roll out at 4 and go to the golf course and make 250. Like, have that life. Don't be laying underneath the fryer. You know what I'm saying? If you can have it, go have that life. And
But why not though? That's my thing. Anytime somebody brings up this discussion, and I mean, I'm not coming at you or nothing like that, but you've obviously you're doing, at least well, you're on the path to doing, really good the way things are going. So, I mean, why not lay under a fryer? Why not, have, a tub of gravy dropped into your tool bag? You know what I mean? The kind of stuff that we deal with. Like,
so
why not?
so I say if you don't have to, don't do it. I mean, it wears on your body. I mean, I'm just being transparent, man. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
It's long hours. There's hard days. It's rewarding. So, do I want my boys to do it? My 13-year-old, he goes out and runs calls in the summertime. I want them to know the value of the dollar, but I also don't want this business hanging over their head and then they like phone it in and don't go do something just amazing. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, what if he wants to go be a minister? Like, I'm just saying, like, it's tough because I see people live vicariously through their kids all the time in sports, in everything. And I'm just really, I just want to give them every opportunity they can. So I'm a little weird about it because if they want to do this, I'll teach them everything I know. But I don't want this to be a crutch that keeps them from doing something that might be even better in life. That's all.
I feel you. I feel you there for sure.
Yeah,
That's one thing I've done with my kids is told them, if you ever want to get into what I do, great. You can make a great living. If you come in and work where I work, I'll teach you what I know. I'll say, but yeah, I've never been the one that's going to be like, well, because I do this, you got to carry on, especially because I'm third generation. So my grandfather did it. My dad did
Oh,
it.
cool.
I got an uncle that does it and I do it. But see, like, I liked, it was like cool to say, yeah, my dad fixes restaurant equipment. Like, nobody else's dad in the school did that. So it was
Yeah,
always cool to be that guy, out like that.
right.
But
That's cool.
I feel what you're saying though.
Very cool.
yeah. I didn't. I mean, I. It wasn't that I didn't want him to do it, but I wanted, like you said, you want your kids to be better than what you are. You will give them every opportunity in the world, and it's
Yes,
not. I look down on this industry. I love this industry. This industry has done a lot of great things for me. I don't
absolutely.
be if I didn't stumble into this industry.
Yep.
But you see your kids and like, oh, you want to do better, and then he came here and he's doing really well. He's excelling out, so I can't complain. I've got a younger one. He's going to graduate this year. That's the smartest kid out of all three of them, and he wants something to do with college. He just nope. I want to get a trade. I'm like, okay,
That's fine. Yeah, that's good. More, yeah, that's awesome. But you think about the dynamic. If you were my son, my dad owns a business,
oh yeah. I can
and
see
then
that.
I say, you're right. I do. You don't.
I
You-
own this.
I own a business. You own nothing. You own.
Exactly.
You are borrowing these clothes, and you don't take very good care of them. so I don't know, man. I'm a little bit old school, but I want the best for them. I want the best for the guys that come in here and work. Like we had a technician work for us for about 11 months. Great guy, just in a different place in life. Didn't need the money. Didn't want the overtime. Offered a pretty good raise to get him to stay, and took a job that he knew he was off every day at 3 o'clock because that's what he wanted. I mean, and I'm like, I can't compete with that. And I'm gonna tell you something. These younger guys, these 25 and down, if they're not married, man, they're about that quality of life. It's hard to find. It's hard to find ones that'll lay in there, and I've got some good ones. That's another cool thing. I'd say my average tech age is probably under 30 because
That's huge.
we do apprenticeships. I've always got a paid apprenticeship. I mean, I've thrown some money away because, I mean, when Chick-fil-A's paying 14, 15 an hour, you got to pay decent money to these guys to get them to come, and you guarantee them 40. And then the other thing I do is if you're billing overtime, I pay overtime. I don't care how many hours you've worked that week. If you're away from your family, you're getting overtime. So I'm telling all my secrets. Somebody's gonna be like, well, man, we should be doing that. That's why all our techs are leaving.
I'll say if people start copying you, that's going to elevate the industry based on everything you're saying. So hopefully they will do what you're saying.
I would love that because the thing is, the technicians, that's the asset, that's the talent. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody can do it well. And I despise a parts changer. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Get me fired up.
You're in good company. Me and Pat could go on for weeks about dealing with parts changers and going behind them. So
I can be the number one tech in any branch and not be the number one salesman on parts.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, how do you do it?" Nah, I don't need parts, man. I just fix what's wrong.
Yeah, we are technicians. We are not. We're going to troubleshoot 90% and guess 10 because now you got my blood pressure up. It's just it's a level of excellence that when you're in a market like this, it's one thing to try to, like, we're trying to set a standard. And when you're always competing against something that's not even really there, I tell the team all the time, we've really focused these last 3 months. We have 3 branches now. We've never had 3 branches before. We got 7 or 8 more techs at the start of this year than we did last year. I'm like, this is a moving target. This is fluid. And we spent the last 3 months just trying to nail down on the office side how to support the guys in the field and streamline it, make it easy, and not overburden them with, the paperwork and stuff. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, and a shameless plug, repairs has been an absolute game changer. I adore repairs. I don't know if you guys have seen it or messed with it, but it is the Cadillac, and I can afford it. So that helps, because I looked at the other one and I couldn't afford it. It was to put it on was like a daggum 2 truck payments. And that's how I always look at my money. I was like, well, I could spend this money here, or I could put another tech on her.
Nice.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I know we know the crew over at Repairs. I've hung out with them a couple times. I like their product. It seems pretty cool, pretty tech friendly, tech intuitive. I haven't dove into it too deeply. I just did a demo yet on his phone one day, and it seems pretty cool. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think the world of it, but
that's good. That's good. I mean, if you got software and stuff you can stand behind, you believe in, it makes your job a lot easier. So,
oh yeah,
yeah, for sure. Yep, that's for sure.
So you said you have a apprentice at all times. Is that what you said?
Yeah, in each location.
Sweet. That's a really good thing too. Get a guy in there young that's willing to learn. I mean, they don't have to be young, but I mean, the young guys. If you can get a young guy in there that's willing to learn, it's great. But
the problem is you've got the guy that's, they want so much money to be an apprentice. Like I had a welder reach out. He's a welder. He was making $28 an hour. I was like, are you sure you want to change careers? He's like 40. He's like, yeah, man, I'm tired of this. I was like, he's like, what could you offer? I said, 14, 15 bucks an hour. I was like, you can't do anything. Not trying to be rude, but you can't do anything. Like, I'm going to spend 3 or 4 months with you riding with somebody, and needless to say, we couldn't come to terms. But it's like, yeah, I mean, usually it is younger guys. They're 20 and down, or not 18, 19, 20 out of a trade school or something. But I'm not opposed. I don't have a problem with an age, just as long as they can handle the money that I can put into someone that there's no return on.
How long do you generally keep someone in the apprenticeship program?
Everything I do is merit based. You can get out of it in 2 months. You can get out of it. I mean, or you can get out of here in 2 months. I mean, it's kind of, it's really what everything around here is based on what you can do. Raises are merit based. They are not, I always try to do a review once a year. But I tell the guys coming in, if you're hungry, if you eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, if you're on YouTube at night, if you will progress yourself, I have no problem paying you 30 some. I don't care. We're all pulling in the same direction. I'm not going to nickel and dime you for 10 years, I want you to get to your full potential. The faster you can, the better it is for everybody. So everything we do is merit based.
Nice.
That's the way it should be.
How do you track their progress? Just talking with the lead tech or talking with them?
Talking with service manager, just watching. I am the last set of eyes on pretty much every invoice. I'm letting loose of some of that. And the reason I'm the last set of eyes is how many invoices, I used wire nuts and I used this and I used that, and I don't see $1 or something like that. Crap adds up. But I've got a guy that's got a pretty good trained eye and got a couple sets of eyes. So really just getting honest feedback. We try to give them, okay, be able to fix a garland grill. That is a huge need with all the junk that's rolling out in, the big Wendy's rollout. I don't know if you guys have messed with that any. They're in Chili's, they're in, of course, Chick-fil-A and stuff, but like the world is needing more garland grill technicians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a garland tech. I actually be the teacher for level 2 for garland for general parts where I work at. So I'm all about garland, man. I love it. I'll work on garland grill every day of the week, man.
Yeah, I don't mind them at all. And we do the PMs a little different than most places. We always use 2 people, and the trainee is always the second person. But while one person's cleaning, the other person's going through all the electrical, and we usually can jump on a PM, have one grill down at 7, off and cool, have it back up by changeover, as long as there's nothing hugely wrong, and then let them go through lunch, drop the other one at 1, and that's how we've had the most success. But I always have 2 people on a grill cert.
I wouldn't know what to do if I had a set of helping.
If you had a helper.
We won't do it. I won't let my guys do it without it. Yet again, I've probably certified a couple hundred grills in my life in my technicianship. So I don't know. And that's the only way somebody can learn. That's the best way to learn about grills, because you're going to have to gap them every time. You're going to have to go through all the processes.
The new ones are so easy.
Yeah, the new ones are beautiful.
We still got some 9501s floating around.
So do we. We got a couple places with. I actually used
concave lower surfaces. Like
I used the 9501 and a World Grill to get rid of a new tech that wasn't cut out.
Well, that'll do it.
That's bad. Yeah. They're not even supporting parts for those anymore, are they?
No. And I'm gonna tell you,
we still get parts for them.
There's some that's
huge warehouse behind us. So
there's some that if you ever run into a part you can't find it, your best bet is to hit up one of the big McDonald's franchisee, like Ferris. Ferris has 100. I think they have over 100 McDonald's, and they have in-house, and sometimes they'll sell you some parts. That's your best shot. Just
nice.
But so Pat, where are you located?
Indianapolis, Indiana. Well, I'm from Indianapolis, but I'm based out of Indianapolis for work.
So any of you guys do henny penny stuff?
No, it's all sewed up by one company in my market. I think he does, but
I do some. I do some.
We do repair after the fact, but for 3 years we were the rep for West Virginia, working as a subcontractor to Astro, and then they got their distributorship pulled about 2.5 months ago. So now it's all under Taylor, and that's interesting. Taylor has 4 techs in the whole state of West Virginia.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's been interesting.
That's kind of wild, because the whole Taylor and Pitco deal and Henny Penny now, they're
is Pitco in there with them? Because the ones I can't get Pitco to talk to me unified. None, like I call them and they act like I'm just crap on their shoe, and it
get all of Pitco warranty, and then they went in. Middleby went in with Taylor, and they're all together. So that's what happened here. So we do some still, occasionally, very rarely, but most time Taylor handles it. Most of it.
That probably works fine in a market like where you're at in Indianapolis, but they got 4 techs. I've got 15, 16 rolling every day. And I mean, we're certified. I still can get into the Henny Penny Cafe. Like we're still, and I finally got 2 months after calling, I got the phone call from the local tailor group, and they're like, we was thinking about maybe using you for the calls we can't get to. I said, well, this is how it's going to go. You can either give me this territory and I do it all, or don't call me. Well, I don't know about that. Well, that's how this is going to work. That's what I've had for the past 4 years, and your Vortex can't touch it. So
Yeah. So yeah, that's wild. There is some Henny Penny tech support guys that listen to this show. I know for sure. So
that's fine. They probably all know my name because I've been driving everybody crazy there.
That's funny. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm saying, hey, now's your chance. So.
No, I will say this: it is my favorite fryer to work on.
Mine too.
See, I always have these debates with people because they always want to badmouth a certain fryer. I'm like, well, did you ever work on it? They're like, no, but when I do, I hate it. I'm like, well, see, you can't hate it because you don't work on it. I'm like,
I've worked on all of them, and it just seems like that a technician had some say in where some things went, how they went in. That's the reason I say that is, that if I had to pick, but we fix them all, especially for warranty.
Most of the time it's the guys though that never touch one and they just see a picture of it. Like, I think it's absolute junk. I'm like, have you ever worked on one? No. I'm like, then how can you say that?
we just picked up Unox and Rationale as well.
Okay.
We haven't got any Unox stuff. The Rationale, I think we've done a couple things for. I'm kind of interested to see how that goes. Yet again, I tell you guys, the reason I picked up all the ASAs is because the customers. I had customers paying me to fix stuff under warranty. They said they literally wouldn't let the other company in their stores. Not allowed. and we're talking big accounts. So, and the ones that really helped me kind of crack the nut was Cracker Barrel, where that was the big one. And once we got that work, and the big thing was the kettles and stuff, like they couldn't. Where I had been trained while I was at Fesco, I was allowed to work on them, but that was huge. And the Cracker Barrel is what this business has been built on. We got a lot of other customers, but Cracker Barrel, whenever they start calling and fussing on your behalf, people start listening. But if it wasn't for like the well-built brands and like getting all that, we would make plenty of money. But as far as being ASA and all that stuff, and for anybody out there listening that's wondering, the key is if you can get one. I don't care if it's like Share. They are starving for good technicians at SEB America. Good luck getting paid. You better not miss crossing the T or dotting an I, because they're going to beat you up on paying you. But like, that's kind of the start of a snowball. You get you one, get you a second one, and whether it's picking off a turbo chef, picking off, just as you start to just kind of get that momentum, and then you got customers that care enough about you to call on your behalf and be like, well, my guy can be here right now. Your people are 3 weeks out. What's going on? And man, you get enough people hollering, you can land some ASA ships, and that's the path you got to be on. I mean, you can get customers and just bill and make that money, but if you want to grow something, it's become an ASA for sure.
It all comes back to the customer relationship, though. You have that relationship with the customer, you have that relationship with Cracker Barrel, and it just kind of rolled into some other things. So that's cool.
Yeah, when the guy that's over all 600 and some Cracker Barrel is calling different ones and being like, I want him. That
means
flattering.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, but that's flattering, but like we're that passionate. I mean, if that phone rings over there right now, he knows that no matter where I am in this world, I'm gonna do everything I can for him. And that's really been what we've built this on, is just being passionate about our customers, our customer experience. Like right now, all of our customers can text us. There's 6 sets of eyes on our 866 number. You can actually text us on it. So at any given time, you can ask a question about a call. Hey, where's my parts? And ideally, if we're doing it on the sports side, if we're doing it right, they're never wondering. You imagine a world where your customer is never wondering what's going on. Hey, your tech's en route. Hey, this job needs this. Here's your quote. Like that's like I'm trying to take it to a place that a lot of the attitude I see out there, well, they got to call us. That's not what we're doing, man. We're trying to do it in a new way for sure.
So Otis wants to know what ASA stands for. It's Authorized Service Agent.
Yeah, Authorized Service Agent, or FAS.
Yeah, Factory Authorized Servicer. There's different terms depending on the manufacturer. Some people say it different ways, but that's what it means.
Basically means you got to buy a crap ton of parts and sit on it for a very long time in order to say that you are something. But no, it's good. You just got to do good notes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mandatory stock lists.
I found there's some flexibility in there though.
Flexibility. Like some companies, Garland, like they'll have a mandatory stock list, but if you haven't used it in a year, you can send it back to them. They'll give you full money back.
So the coolest one I've seen, I can't remember if it was Alto-Sham or Accutemp. They let you buy all the parts, but you was net 364. So they would send you all the parts, you would work out of those parts, and then at the end of the year, you had to pay the bill. I think's how it worked. I was like, that's kind of cool because they don't put it all on us. Like rationale to fully outfit each, like both, like just Beckley and Nitro was close to 20 grand out of pocket. And that's the stuff like first getting into it, like 20 grand was that's a ton of money, man. Like that's a ton of money. Now it still is, and we don't treat it like it's not, but it's, we've got enough customers and stuff that we can justify. Let's keep growing.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah, real good.
So I don't want to keep you much longer. I've had some people ask about your social media and how to get a hold of you or how to, link up with you to talk to you. Do you want to put that out there where people could find you or find your shop?
Company or?
Yeah. So we are Red. So our web address is redllcwv.com. And I think on Facebook it's Red LLC, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to go off here looking. I didn't know I was going to be plugging myself, man. What was I thinking?
We did. We let everybody plug themselves. I mean, it's a competitive market out there, but there's enough work for everybody, dude.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And this is what I say about every company, and this goes hands down across the board. You earn the reputation you have. Mm-hmm. If you walk in and you say a certain company's name in certain areas, they get a look, they get this look on their face. Well, they've earned that. Mm-hmm. And I tell people, try not to earn that, man. Try to earn the, hey, our savior's here, Yep. And I tell people all the time, we sell peace. We don't sell our ability to fix stuff. Once you call Red, hey, it's handled. I'm gonna go run a restaurant. They know we're gonna fix their stuff, and that's what we sell. I'm trying to see if I can get you a Facebook link.
I'll put it in the show notes when it comes out on podcast.
You spoil me.
I do it for everybody. It's kind of hard getting people on here sometimes, man. People see it as a negative, or they're worried about the impression it's going to make. And I mean, we don't get on here and badmouth anybody. We don't talk bad about anybody. There's companies that have bad reputations in certain areas, and it's not really the company; it's the people that represent that company have done that to that company. And once that gets out there, it's hard to break, man. You could turn over everybody, have the best guys come in, and you still have the reputation. It just takes forever. So once you get that, you're just kind of labeled, and sometimes it's unfair to the guys that come in behind and stuff. But it's just, I don't know.
Well, if you don't have a good business model, what you have is, I heard it said one time, a warm body's better than nobody. I disagree. So what you have is you have 3 warm bodies and you have 1 firefighter, and the 3 don't know how to do anything. They're just going to go in and basically just try to pacify until the firefighter can get there. And by the time he gets there, man, it's he's got his hands full. He gets his butt chewed, but you know what's kind of cool about that is, and I would encourage any tech out there, if you are the firefighter, and you know you are, when you come in, the customer, they got peace. You sell them peace. Hey man, you got somebody out there wants you on a team, and if your leadership won't deal with the the warm body technology, the people, the approach, and there's somebody that wants you. I promise you.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
that firefighter thing, it gets old after a while, man. It's cool at first, but it gets.
You sound like you got your hat and your boots and y'all know. I mean, I did some of that, and it was tough because I was a young tech, but man, there's ways you can do it and do it well, but at some point it just gets to be such a grind on the man.
Yep. Yeah, there's days I'm like, it just, and then the bad thing is it rolls over to other parts of your life. It makes you grumpy in the office, makes you grumpy at home, and makes you short with people you don't need to be short with. Um,
is there anybody asking you, Pat, what can I do to make it better?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Do they follow through on that stuff you tell them they can do?
Sometimes. There's days it's been better than others. And I do it to myself though. I mean, I don't say no. We've all been there. You know exactly what it is. A customer's down. You don't want the customer to suffer, so you say yes. It's 5:30. You're not on call, but a key account or someone you're friends with or a customer you take care of calls and we got this down. And they're suffering, and I'll go out there. I'll take care of it. It's just it can wear on you for sure though.
Oh yeah, I know that to be the case. We've hired a bunch of firefighters. For sure.
All right, man. Well, I'm not gonna keep you any longer. I'm gonna sign off here, but I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, man, it was a pleasure.
I'll put links.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
I'll put a link to your LinkedIn on there if anyone wants to connect with you on there, and then I'll put a link to your website on there so we can find you on there, man. But I appreciate you coming on and spend an hour with us tonight and talk about how you got into this and how you started your own thing. It's a pretty cool story. 3-4 years and you've really grown, and let's see where you go in the next 3 or 4.
Let me say one last thing. If it wasn't for the Lord, I wouldn't even be here, man. I do what I can do, and He fills all the gaps. So don't ever think it's Matt Brunty. It's the good Lord above that has blessed this beyond what I could ever deserve.
That's right, man. Have a good night, man.
You too, sir.
Thanks, guys. And it's off. If you guys would, please consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the podcast. It really helps us grow and helps us know which direction to move in. Also, if you have any suggestions for guests, please email me at commercialkitchenchronicles@gmail.com. Or if you want to be a guest, email me. Love to have you guys on. Thanks a lot. See you next week.